This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you!
Boring. Boring. Boring.
You got it work. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to Lembit Öpik Live here on Unprecedented TV, where we find the facts, kill the spin, and tell it like it is as best we can. Yes, we express our opinions, but we don't dress them up as facts. That's what makes such difference to much of the mainstream media. We don't want to beat the mainstream media. We want to be the mainstream media, and that's our mission for the year ahead. Well, thanks very much for also subscribing if you have done. Otherwise, do go there. Just click subscribe and like on Unprecedented TV on YouTube. It costs you nothing, and you will have access to literally hundreds of shows. It's amazing how many we've created in this half year that we've been around. Also, you can, if you're at a bit of a loose end, suggest to us shows that you'd like us to make. Not just in this country. We will also make multi-language shows. So if you live somewhere outside the United Kingdom or America, then please do let us know, and we'll take a punt in your culture and your language. We are a truly global operation, and we want to keep it that way. Now, let's talk about something which is UK-based, but it's a salutary lesson to the whole world. Don't have a chancellor like Rachel Reeves. She's been called the Grinch, the chancellor that stole Christmas, the woman who reflects Scrooge's worst excesses. If you're not familiar with those stories, they're definitely worth the read. They're very, very dark, but they're also very apocryphal, which means they're telling a warning tale. But it's not one which Rachel Reeves seems to have taken note of, and she's become quite unpopular. Although she's now abandoning yet more policies, most recently about farming and taxing certain aspects of farming, people don't have much respect for her. So is Rachel Reeves genuinely guilty of stealing Christmas? Is that too much to say? Has she done a much better job than I'm portraying? And I have to tell you, my opinion is she's done a bad job. Joining me, somebody who is never knowingly undersold and contradicting me if he disagrees with me, is Nick Buckley MBE, which means he's right at the top of the order of membership of the British Empire. Which is higher, OBE or MBE?
OBE is higher than MBE.
Why?
There's different grades to it, and it depends how wide your influence was, your positive influence was on society. So MBE basically means you had a positive effect on a regional level. So, of course, I've been working in Greater Manchester for decades. OBE means you've probably got a national positivity over the country, and CBE is higher than that, maybe international, maybe raising the reputation of the UK abroad. So there's different characteristics in each one.
So it's very unlikely that Rachel Reeves is going to get one of these.
Only if the Russians or the Chinese are handing them out.
But they'd be doing it in irony. Let's look at one of the headlines, if we can get that up. Yeah, thanks very much. There it is. Is Rachel Reeves the Grinch who stole UK Christmas? British retailers are bracing for a much tougher festive season than they imagined. Quite a recent, if you're watching this live, quite a recent article, this. It does seem that Rachel Reeves is getting panned in the press for having done a dreadful job and having suppressed Christmas sales. What's your take?
She's made lots and lots of mistakes, which we can go into. She's hammered the retail and hospitality industry, and they rely on Christmas every year. That's where they make their profit. The rest of the year, they're just trying to keep the doors open. But November, December is when they make their profit for the whole year. And with the extra increases in taxes, the increase in national insurance for employers, increasing in rates, all the extra red tape, She's killed Christmas this year, and the fact the budget was so late, the fact the budget was the end of November, meant lots of businesses and lots of people were waiting to see what went on before they would spend their money. Where normally they'd be spending it in October and November as well as December, but this late budget also affected it. And I'm hearing stuff all the time. I've had friends telling me that there's hardly any temporary Christmas jobs this year in the shops because the shops can't afford to bring in a few more extra staff because there's no money there for them to pay them. And the rumours are retail and hospitality are going to have, if not the worst Christmas period ever. And every year we see businesses go bankrupt in January and February, mainly because, for lots of reasons, the internet's killing high street shops and stuff. But this year, this Chancellor is also the extra thing on the balance that's going to push many businesses over. So really, she has stolen Christmas.
It's a pretty grim prognosis, but you don't have to look far to see headlines. Pretty much the whole of the mainstream media, for once, has said things that I tend to agree with. How Rachel Reeves stole Christmas. British businesses have little cause for festive cheer after a particularly punishing budget. IOU in the box there. And it does seem to me that the mood music is that Rachel Reeves is useless.
I think it's more the mood music. I think it's almost written in stone somewhere. There's hardly anybody now in this country, regardless of where you sit on the political scale, who thinks she's done a good job in a year and a half. She's gone from disaster to disaster. I mean, she's gone from lying on her CV to lying she was a chess champion, to lying about other stuff, to having to
What was this chess champion story?
Oh, did you not hear about that?
No.
Oh, that was about a month ago. She's made it known to everybody that she was something like the regional or the English chess champion at some point, girls chess champion. And the press looked into it, and she wasn't. She's never won it. She entered it once and she won a match, but she didn't win the competition. So all this exaggeration all the time has got her to where she is. But when it gets looked into, it finds out it's exaggeration or dare shall I say it, lies. But even from her first budget last year, over a year ago now, that was a terrible budget for businesses. They've U-turned on so many policies. They've done policies that were ideological, nothing to do with tax, such as putting VAT on private schools. That was never going to bring in any money. It's bankrupted some of the private schools. We've got more kids now going into normal state-run schools, so we've had to fund them more. It's actually cost the government money, that policy, but that was all about punishing so-called privileged white kids. So they've made loads of mistakes, but the taxes is the one that's killing businesses and killing me and you. I'm sick of paying the amount of tax we pay in this country, and everything we pay for, all the services, all the public services, are all getting worse year by year.
Yeah, well, the thing about Rachel Reeves is she just doesn't look like she understands what the hell she's doing. She just literally just doesn't look like she's in control of her brief. You've said something about. Sorry, you're going to say. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say a year ago she was in charge of a brief and she had an idea and she thought she knew what she was doing and it all went wrong. For a year now, all she's doing now is firefighting the consequences of her decision. So she's not in control anymore. They're not even in control of their backbenchers. They're just firefighting all the time. The economy now is a ship with no captain steering it. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I don't know. But they're not in charge of anything.
Yeah, I've actually suggested that we'd be better off with no chancellor at all than the current chancellor, because at least that wouldn't cause this massive amount of harm. And I have to say, I watch. I was top rated in my school for economics, and I actually started studying it at university. I just watch a woman who doesn't understand the basics of economic policy, and she just doesn't inspire any confidence, Nick. Why is she still in the job?
But Lembit, you don't understand. She's the first female chancellor.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Does that not make you feel just proud to be British?
Absolutely. It's fantastic. But Mr. Öpik, your chancellor, this is not my chancellor. Okay, the UK chancellor has mucked up the economy. Yes, but she's a woman. Okay, carry on.
A man would have messed up a lot worse than she'd have done.
Okay, well, I see where you're going with that, which is quite disturbing. And also, basically, the other oh, my team's found it. Reeves between a rook and a hard place after claims she made up chess championship. Yeah. The Chancellor's opponents say the Treasury Queen has become a pawn, but it's too soon to tell if the chess attack is a checkmate or a stalemate. I like that, John Craig. It's pretty good. Yeah, I quite like his writing. So you're right. There is yet another apparently tall tale or a lie going on there. That's very disappointing. I'm quite keen on chess, but I'm not keen on the way that she plays the economy. So you're saying that essentially she has, you think that she has wrecked Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, she's wrecked the economy, which wasn't in a strong place anyway. 14 years of Tory did a lot of damage to the economy. Of course it did. Let's never forget what the Tories did. But she's made it worse. She's made it worse by not understanding economics, by thinking socialism was the answer, by thinking if we tax these evil rich people more, I'll have more money and I'll be able to spend it on the deserving poor. And what happened was all the businesses stopped expanding and stopped, doing what they do to a certain extent. They didn't want to expand anything, spend any more money. They then moved some of their operations abroad. So that brought in less taxes. Rich people are leaving the country every day. The richer you are, the more you're likely to leave the country. Young people, the brains of this country now, are leaving to go to other countries to see if they can make success there. Everything she's doing has unintended consequences for her. We could have seen it coming, but I can't believe she's never read about the 1970s in this country, because she's making all the same mistakes that took place in the 1970s.
I thought she was the greatest historian in the 1970s. Wasn't that on her CV?
Yes.
Wasn't also she the first woman to walk on the moon in a rocket she built herself? And yes, and she climbed Everest before Edmund Hillary did.
Yeah.
There's one person who doesn't seem to spot the problem. There he is. There's the man.
Yeah.
How can he be so gormless in his decision making, Keir Starmer?
Yeah. I think he's not in control anymore now. He's lost control of his party. He's lost control of the narrative. He's lost control of policy. His front bench are all briefing against him. They're all hoping to replace him. And somebody will replace him in the next couple of months. I actually thought it might get to May before, get the elections over and done with, get a bad result, get rid of him May, June. No, he'll be gone well before May. Everybody's scrambling now for his job. He's a dead duck. It looks like he's swimming because he's floating on top, but there's no movement. He's just bobbing up and down with the waves.
Yeah, you say that, but there's a problem that one of his main contenders, there he is, your old mate, Andy Burnham there, Mayor of Manchester. It's so bad that he'd have to stand. He's not a member of Parliament at the moment. If he wants to challenge Keir Starmer, he has to become a member of Parliament again. Yeah. But it's no guarantee he could even win a seat.
Well, the rumours are rife in Greater Manchester at the moment. The rumours, as of today, is Andy Burnham will be, if you're watching
this live, that is,
which
is around Christmas. Go
on. Andy Burnham will be standing in a by-election from what I'm being told, in about 8 weeks' time, 8 to 10 weeks' time. He's got a seat set up, and it's going to be Andrew Gwyn's seat in Ashton-under-Lyne. Andrew Gwyn is the Labour MP who's I think he's had the whip removed, because he was the one saying it's good we've moved the winter fuel allowance off pensioners because that'll kill loads of them, and I'm sick of dealing with pensioners. So he said that in a WhatsApp group. So what I'm being told is the deal's been done. He's going to resign on health grounds. Andy Burnham is going to stand in his seat.
So that guy could actually be back in Parliament, in which case it's perfectly obvious he's only going there to challenge Keir Starmer's leadership.
Yeah. So 18 months ago, Andy Burnham would have won that seat in a by-election blindfolded without doing any work. But things have moved on now. Reform UK will throw everything at that by-election. Andy Burnham, I think, has only got a 50-50 chance of winning that by-election. Reform could win this. And if Andy Burnham loses, that's the end of Andy Burnham's career. He's gone. That'll be the end of him.
But yeah, Nigel Farage has done a pretty impressive job. We could have a conversation another day about how he's done that. But there's no doubt that he's been coasting in with result after result.
He's by far at the top of the polls. I mean, so whatever he's doing it right at this moment in time. He's top of the polls. So I would put a Reform candidate against Andy Burnham. I'd put it 50-50 who wins that. But if Andy Burnham was anybody else, I would say Reform are definitely going to win it. It's only because Andy Burnham has great PR and has a good reputation in Greater Manchester, believe it or not. He actually does. But if Andy Burnham can pull it off, and if Andy Burnham gets to Parliament, I would bet my house Andy Burnham becomes the next Prime Minister within a few months.
Yeah, I have to say, I quite like Andy. I always got on well with him. There's no doubt the Labour Party would do better. It might not win the next election, but it'd do better, do less badly under Burnham.
Oh, yeah, Andy Burnham is a good communicator. He speaks well. He comes across as human. He can answer questions off the cuff. He comes across as a nice man, sort of guy you'd have a pint with in the pub. The thing I don't like about Andy Burnham is his policies. You know, I think Andy Burnham comes across really well. So you're right. I mean, the fact we're judging Andy Burnham on the trait that he comes across as human just shows how bad the current crop of politicians are.
Yes, I think you're right. I'll come back to you in just a minute. You're watching Lembit Öpik on Lembit Öpik Live on Unprecedented TV. And we're reviewing, you wouldn't think it, but we're reviewing the performance of Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, but it's impossible to separate her from Keir Starmer. And I'm just wondering, really, how bad has it got to get before Rachel Reeves will actually be ousted? Maybe she's just there for the long term. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't have the power. But I'm just wondering if Keir Starmer has it too. Just a quick one to say to you. I'm really, really keen on you watching other shows as well, such as Claire Dyer's Dire Consequences and so many other shows, all of which are available here on Unprecedented TV. Tim Scott Uncancelled, he's just doing great guns, but we're starting some new shows as well. And those shows are all about, well, essentially, free speech. That is the essence of what we stand for. And I hope that you might be just slightly encouraged by the fact that we're going to be reaching across the pond to the United States as well. Everywhere we go, we do seem to be getting quite a lot of support. And I just hope that fundamentally what we're doing here is something which is to your liking. The reality is, I'm just looking at the comments now, that you're being quite generous towards us, but none more so, in my view, than Claire Dyer in terms of courage to personify what this station's about. Claire Dyer is doing an absolutely great job. She picks up local issues and then she sees the national implications of them. Watch this. That is Claire Dire Consequences. Pretty hard watching sometimes her shows because she raises things that nobody else does, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to actually tell it like it is. And we've actually done a Christmas message, Nick Buckley MBE, which will be out. Maybe it's out already by the time you're watching this. Depends if you're watching it live or not. But one Christmas message I'd like to get from Chancellor Rachel Reeves is, I'm terribly sorry for stealing Christmas. But we're not going to get that, are we?
No, we're not, because it's not her fault. She's already explained why it's not her fault. It's the miners' fault from the 80s. It's COVID. It's Brexit. Do you remember when she came out of that list of things why the economy is failing? And she went back to the early
climate
80s.
change. That's another one.
Change. Yeah. It's not her fault.
It's just crazy.
How Rachel Reeves stole Christmas. Excellent.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's sad. It looks sadly very much like her, actually. And she's always blaming other people, isn't she? She literally is. She just goes on and on and on. Climate change, Donald Trump, tariffs, Russia, the Ukraine problem, China. I mean, it's just when you listen to her, the Grinch doesn't really moan very much in the film. She actually moans more than the Grinch. If you made a film of all her excuses and complaints about other people, it would be longer than the film The Grinch.
It would be, but it's even worse than that, because the reason why she's making all these excuses and moaning, and she's spending all her time and energy invested in excuses and moaning, means she's doing no self-reflection. She's not sat there going, right, I may have made a mistake here. How can I correct it? What can I do differently? Why is this going wrong? She goes straight to, not my fault. It must be this is the fault, which means she's never correcting her course, because she thinks she's on the right course, but but evil forces are affecting the outcomes of what she thinks should be happening.
It's ridiculous. There was a pretty chaotic situation in Parliament quite recently, and it was all around Rachel Reeves, really. Rachel Reeves is so bad, she's making Kemi Badenoch look a lot better.
Yes.
The head of the OBR was forced out for telling the truth that the Chancellor did not need to raise taxes on working people. We also know that the Chancellor was briefing the media, twisting the facts, all so she could break her promises and raise taxes. Mr. Speaker, if she was a CEO, she would have been fired, and she might even have been prosecuted for market abuse. That's why we've written to the Financial Conduct Authority. So will the Prime Minister ensure the Chancellor fully cooperates with any investigation?
Now, before we hear the Prime Minister's lame duck response, my opinion, Kemi Badenoch's basically right. If Chancellor Rachel Reeves was the chief executive officer of a private company, she'd have been fired by now, wouldn't she?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And what Labour need to realise is they're that bad, and they're getting so much worse. They're now making their opposition party. They're making Kemi Badenoch, who I've wanted to be sacked since she started in position as the leader of the Tories. They're making her look really good now. She's finding her feet because she knows they never come out with any good responses. The Labour now are damaging themselves because they're making the Tories look good.
Let's have a look at Keir Starmer's response, which I think, my opinion, was absolutely pathetic.
She's completely losing the plot. She clearly didn't read. May I pay tribute to Richard Hughes and his leadership of the OBR? He made very clear why he stepped down, and I've made very clear my support of the OBR.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister talks about losing the plot. Let me read to him what his own cabinet members are saying, and I quote, "The handling of this budget has been a disaster from start to finish." Who said that? Was it him? Was it her? In fact, I think it was probably her, actually. It was probably the Chancellor. In fact, Mr. Speaker, one of his ministers said the Chancellor and Prime Minister look weak and incompetent. The country agrees. We know that there were endless Treasury briefings to justify raising taxes on hard-working people to pay for benefits. And those briefings had real-world consequences. Hundreds of thousands of people drew down their pension, an irreversible act. So the Prime Minister pays tribute to the head of the OBR. If the head of the OBR had to resign over market-sensitive leaks, why is the Chancellor still in her job?
Good point, I think. And I have to say, Kerry Badenoch looked pretty confident there. I thought she did a good job. That's some time ago now, but she's actually finding her feet. Why? Because there's this massive open goal with a goalkeeper who can't stop the penalties going in.
Absolutely. Kemi is loving that now because she knows she's got nothing to lose. She knows she can have a bad day and still look 10 times better than the people sat on the benches opposite her. If just watching that clip, if I'd have been the Prime Minister answering that question, I'd have said to Kemi, the right honourable lady opposites, I'm glad you're smiling. I'm glad you find this funny. But we're trying to fix 14 years of Tories ruining the economy. That's why we're in a problem. And I admit the economy is not going well at the moment, but that is the consequences of 14 years of Tories. And the fact you can stand there smiling and laughing about it means you've learnt nothing from your 14 years in charge. That should have been his answer. He should have turned it into an attack on her and her smiling and her being glib.
But they don't have the agility.
No, they
Keir
don't.
Starmer's not intelligent enough to do that. I'm amazed that he's ever head of the Crown Prosecution Service, a job he held without noticing that one of Britain's most prolific child abusers ever, Jimmy Savile, was running riot. I mean, the man is just a disaster area. And one thing I've learned in industry, and I spent a long time in large corporations, is that a bad manager very rarely promotes anyone better than himself.
Yeah, and he's always been, to me, a classic middle manager. I don't know who's telling him what to do, but someone is telling him what to do, because he's not a leader. He's not a party leader. He can't think on his feet. He doesn't seem to have any ideas. He's the perfect council middle manager that I used to work with.
Yeah, it's a really difficult situation. But back to the really difficult situation for us because they're so bad. Back to Christmas. Christmas is unaffordable this year. Hard-pressed families say, and it's all the fault of that prime Grinch, Rachel Reeves. Are you worried about affording Christmas after the budget? Email Adam. I can't read it properly. Maybe they'll get rid of the ticker there. Oh, there we are. Yep. Email adam.pogrund@dailymail.co.uk. Now, you could say that Daily Mail is no friend of Labour.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I'm speaking to are saying the same thing. They're actually saying, yeah, it's awful. It's terrible. And that's what worries me. We're in a situation where the whole thing is collapsing. And Rachel Reeves, as you said before, hasn't got the ability to stop it. She's just a passenger, isn't she?
Yeah, that's all she is. She's witnessing a car crash and she still doesn't realise she's at the wheel.
Yeah, that's exactly properly put. Yeah. How can she not notice?
I don't know. She's too busy crying. She's too busy plastering her face in makeup so people don't know she's been crying. She's a wreck. She's an absolute
I'm
wreck.
glad you said that. I had a bet with my team. They said you'll never find a way to put in your favorite clip of Rachel Reeves. Not because I celebrate her failure, but because you shouldn't be bawling her eyes out in the office. And it's the office. And this is, I think, the clip. No, that's not it. That's not Rachel Reeves, is it? I
told you she's looking bad.
No, she doesn't look quite that bad, though. They'll probably get it. Here it comes now, I think. And this is just like Rachel Reeves sitting next to the Prime Minister. Still don't know why she was crying. Maybe there was some terrible news she had. But she's got puffy eyes. She's bawling her eyes out while she's next to the Prime Minister. You want somebody with, I have to say, a bit more gumption than that. Maybe we'll one day find out what it was about. But it was just a terrible look. And I think maybe what we might want to do is actually hear that whole clip in its entirety. I'll just actually see if the team can get the sound on that, because it was exactly what you said. There's this moment where Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, just looks like she's psychologically packing it in. Yeah, we've got it apparently with the sound now. Apparently, see if we can put it on. No, apparently not. Well, there we are. Well, if we can do that, I blame Rachel Reeves for that. I think she stopped that from working. With a woman as bad as that in that position, how do we get out of this mess?
I have no idea. Let me comment on the crying bit. It doesn't matter why she was crying. Her mum or dad might have died. It doesn't matter why she was crying. There's 2 points there. If something bad happened to her or to a family member and upset her, which is quite normal to be upset, her poor judgment made her go in the chamber. That just goes to prove she's got poor judgment for going in the chamber when she wasn't fully mentally fit. And the other alternative is she sat there, realizes she's rubbish, realizes everything is falling down around her, and she broke down and had a bit of a cry in the House of Commons. Both those scenarios are not good enough. And if she'd have been a man, if she would have been a man in that situation, he wouldn't be Chancellor with a week later. He would be a laughing stock around the country, around the world. But because she's a woman, we let all that go, and we sort of felt sorry for her. We never would have felt sorry for a man.
When my brother died, unexpectedly at the age of 36, I was Shadow Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, and I had to carry on a very important period in the peace process. And I made a judgment, and I went in shortly after that, and I did my job. And if I hadn't been able to do my job, I'd have delegated it to one of my number twos, one of the other people on my team, because it wasn't the country's problem that my brother died, but it would have been Parliament's problem if I was washing my emotional dirty laundry in public. People would have been forgiving, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Imagine if you're flying in an airplane and the pilot's making an announcement, he's bawling his eyes out. Well, it wouldn't fill you with confidence, would it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't care why he's unhappy or she's unhappy. I think we've actually got that clip with the sound now. So let's just see if we can play that. Let's try again, please.
To thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support.
She looks, Mr. Speaker, she's pointing at me. She looks absolutely miserable. Labour MPs, yeah, she looks absolutely miserable. Labour MPs, they can point as much as they like. The fact is, Labour MPs are going on the record saying that the Chancellor is toast, and the reality is that she is a human shield for his incompetence. In January, he said that she would be in post till the next election. Will she really?
No, there it is. It's just unedifying. It weakens your credibility.
There's a word we've not used, and the word is professionalism. Is that too much to ask these days for people to be professional? Crying in a work environment, crying when you're under pressure at work, for a man or a woman is unprofessional.
Yeah, you're right. And actually, it's quite a simple point. And running the country is like flying a plane. You want to give your passengers confidence. And there's nothing she's really done to give that confidence. And of course, now she's also washing off badly on Starmer. There we are. I mean, she actually looks quite fetching there. She looks like serious, and you think that's a woman I'd quite like to have as a Chancellor, but obviously it's just mocking her. And I think there's another one which we might be able to put up, which is back to the Grinch motif there. And that's really mocking her. It's so easy to do. She just lacks credibility. How does this end then? You think back to what your prediction was? You think that she'll be gone by before May? You think?
I think both of them will be gone by March, sometime probably in March. Reeves and Starmer are joined at the hip. They're Siamese twins. You can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other. If one goes, they both go. They're joined together, regardless who goes first. If Rachel Reeves goes, Starmer will fall within weeks. And if Starmer goes, the new leader, the first thing he or she does is get rid of Rachel Reeves. So they're both toast. They've got to Christmas. January, when they get back to Parliament in January, all the front bench are making manoeuvres now. So January will come, they'll start looking at stabbing people in the back. February will turn up, nothing's going on in February, and that's probably when the decision will be made that the following month, both of them are gone, because at the moment, we're all going to lose our seats. And I'm on £96,000 a year minimum as an MP. If I'm a minister, I'm on a lot more, plus expenses. I want to keep this job. It's the best job I've ever had. Therefore, them two have to go. Let's get Andy Burnham in. Let's get Angela Rayner in. Let's get someone in who may be able to help me keep my seat. I know we're not going to be in government again, but if I can keep my seat, that's all I care about. Yeah. And that's what every MP on that side of the chamber is saying.
Let's finish with a bit of levity, literally there. This is a very familiar Christmas scene.
Yeah.
A lot's wrong with it as far as Labour is concerned. First of all, pay per mile. Think how much Santa will have to pay if he's visiting every child who's nice. That's a fortune. Also, it's aviation. They don't really like aviation very much.
Yeah. Reindeer farts are bad for net zero.
Oh, well, if you're going down that path, that's also cruelty to animals. They want to stop trail hunting. So they'll have to get rid of the reindeer. And of course, the man in that picture is a stereotype.
Yeah.
There's no diversity going on there at all. He's
not
not paying attention to the road. AI will pick that up.
Yeah.
He's going to be done.
Santa there is old, male, and stale.
He's going to be taxed out of existence, though.
Yeah.
And he's got an American flag.
I noticed that. Plus, he's holding the holly as if it's mistletoe. So I call that sexual abuse.
Yes. Merry Christmas, Chancellor Reeves. Not much cheer there. If you're watching this in the archive, you'll be able to find out, of course, if you're watching this March 2026, you can see if Nick Buckley's prediction's correct or not. Nick, let's come back to the present. If you're watching this live, this is meaningful. You predict that Rachel Reeves will be gone. Keir Starmer will be gone. I won't hold you to it. I won't mock you if you're wrong. Who do you think is most likely in your scenario to be the next Prime Minister, the next leader of the Labour Party?
I've got two. If Andy Burnham can win his seat, then 100% it'll be Andy Burnham. If Andy Burnham fails to win his seat, my money is on Angela Rayner.
Burnham or Rayner? Wow. I hope it's Rayner, because that'd be really funny. That'd be hilarious. Watching Angela Rayner trying to run the country. If she does run the country, of course, it means that Tony Blair was completely wrong when he said what matters is education, education, education. Total waste of money. You get to be Prime Minister. She's already been Deputy Prime Minister, leaving school with no qualifications. Now, you might say that's a rags to riches story, but it totally contradicts what the Labour administration under Blair was doing. They wanted 50% of the population to go to university. I didn't agree with that, incidentally. I thought that was a silly idea. The university only works for certain people and not for others, and not about class. It's about mindset, intelligence, and aspiration, what you want to do with your life. Other people, plumbers, can earn more than an MP in London, as the head of Pimlico Plumbers has shown. Okay, there we go. Has it been a good year or a bad year, 2025, do you think?
For the country, I think it's been a good year. I think we've turned a corner this year. I think the people are beginning to wake up. The English especially are waking up. We've seen the protests, the continual protests outside migrant hotels. We've seen raise the colours, flags everywhere. We've seen two main parties say they're going to deport illegal immigrants. We've started talking about mass deportations. We've got politicians on the back foot. Labour's talking tough on immigration, even though they'll do nothing. I get that, but they're talking tough. I think we've turned the corner. I think 2026 is going to be a much better year. I think we're in the foothills of healing as a country. I think we've got another decade to go, but I'm more optimistic today than I was this time last year.
Things can only get better.
Don't be singing that song.
Thank you so much. That's Nick Buckley MBE saying that things will get better in 2026. If you're watching this live, we'll find out. Thanks very much to Nick Buckley MBE, absolute stalwart here on Unprecedented TV. Do please like and subscribe if you can on our YouTube site. There are literally hundreds of shows there for you to enjoy, and do keep an eye out on some tremendous developments in 2026. Once again, if you're watching this live, we are really reaching out, and literally we will be reaching out to the United States of America as well, with Sarah Evie Clark in Dallas. And of course, we got Warren Thornton in Manila. We are with a global reach, and I like to think we are unique. I don't think anyone's done what Unprecedented TV has done. Cobra Free Speech, where we don't censor opinions, but hopefully we set fire to freedom of views. Have a good day, whatever you're doing. Thanks very much for watching. And please, once again, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a good day.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages.